Alam's present role as a registrar of Cengist Group of Institutions, India. He is one of the subject experts and resource person of National Board of Accreditation, approved volume machinery, plant mechanical engineer, charter engineer. He is holding five Indian patent general publication, which includes improvement of tribal and secure IoT device management and eliminating security issues in IoT using blockchain. He mentored more than 75 faculty development programs in the outcome based education. He is also recipient of APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University OBE FDP funding. He participated in Peace Engineering uh, WEEF 2018 in New Mexico. He is also active member in American Society of Engineering Education. He is academic auditor of APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, Kerala. His research interest is renewable solar energy resources, autonomous vehicles, and engineering education. In addition of sorry for as connection was lost. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, please go through.
Uh, Okay, sir. Thank you for giving your time. Now I will request you to kindly start your presentation and bless sir.
Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, all. I hope you may able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
My screen. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Hurst, for giving me a chance to meet a very good number of participants from academic as well as industry towards the research interest of cybersecurity. For the past 3 days, the gathering is witnessed with several experts in different topics related with cybersecurity, right? So cybersecurity is the practice of defending computers or servers or mobile devices or electronic systems, networks and data from malicious attacks. No need of explaining to the gathering. It is also known as information technology security or electronic information security, right? The term applies in a variety of contexts, from business to mobile computing, and can be divided into few common categories, right? So the categories may be network security, which is the practice of securing computer network from intruders, whether targeted attackers or opportunistic malware. The second one, application security, it focuses on keeping software and devices free of threats. A compromised application could provide access to the data it's designed to protect. Successful security begins in the design stage well before a program or a device is deployed. Most of us has to think of it. In case of information security, it protects the integrity and privacy of data both in storage and in transit, right? In case of operational security, includes the processes and decisions for handling and protecting data sets, the permissions user have when accessing a network, and the procedure that determine how and where data may be stored or shared all fall under this operational security. In case of disaster recovery and business continuity, it define actually we can say like this: disaster recovery policies dictate how the organization restore its operations and information to return to the same operating capacity as before the event. Or we can define how an organization responds to a cybersecurity incident or any other event that causes the loss of operations or data, right? Business continuity is the plan the organization falls back on while trying to operate without certain resources. That's what I want to stress in it. In case of end user education, I put it in a separate way, right? End user education, because among the 138 crore of Indians, it is mandatory to educate more number of people. So end user education addresses the most unpredictable cyber security factor, maybe people, right? Anyone can accidentally introduce a virus to an otherwise secure system by failing to follow good security practices. Most of the occasions, unknowingly we are introducing, right? Teaching users to delete suspicious email attachments, not plug in unidentified USB drives, and various other important lessons is vital for the security of any organization, right? These are the few common categories which I want to put your mindset. Probably you might seen in the previous sessions also the same things, right? So my topic is holistic approach to cybersecurity, right? So why the holistic approach? Whatever industry you are, you may be belongs to academic or industry or in different type of industry or not even in academic as well as industry, right? Whatever industry you are, regardless of business size, right? It may be medium or bigger or small. Irrespective of business size, irrespective of industry you are in, holistic cybersecurity must be considered a top priority and an integral part of the digital transformation journey, right? If you want to define holistic approach to cybersecurity, it is like this. Knowing what a holistic approach looks like, what do organizations need to do to take this holistic approach to cybersecurity, right? I put a slide to you, right, which comprises some 4 stages. The first stage, educate employees. When you talk about holistic approach to cybersecurity, the foremost important task is educate employees. Truly, an organization security is only as good as its employees. Often, it's employees who are targeted by well-designed phishing attacks designed to have a or designed to give a hacker information or access to a network. Human behavior is the key to plugging security gaps. Maybe your staff could be the weakest link in the security chain, right? I'm not saying you, your staff could be, or can be the key to strengthening the overall cybersecurity posture of the business. Teach employees how to recognize suspicious emails by looking at headers or simply highlighting links to show the true domain name, right? It's these links that will often lead to a site asking for some credentials or ask a user to download a malicious program on the corporate network. So the first task, we have to educate employees, right? Second one, the technology. While technology is not the only part of an organization's cyber health, it is still an important part of it. Don't think that it is not important, right? Or it is only the part. The security tools an organization uses should be well integrated into the overall security architecture. The technology should be manageable, as a secure environment is one that it is visible, understandable, and well managed. In addition, security teams need to understand what's going on with their specific network and know what they need to protect their business. In some cases, an MSSP could be brought into a help manage some or all of the security infrastructure of an organization. An MSSP can help remediate risk, ensure compliances, and secure environments. MSSPs take charge in the planning and execution of various security practices, including resolving issues that may arise, right? Most probably you might have the experience of this. So what way we are utilizing the technology. And the third important task, the step C, as per the slide, cybersecurity policies and procedures. To help support the education of staff in all security matters, it is correlated with step A, or the first task. To help support the education of staff in all security matters, well thought out policies and procedures need to be put into a place, right? Audience, if you are finding any issues in between, you please put it into the message or chat box. In addition, training and awareness of an organization policies and procedures need to be mandatory for all employers. It is not applicable only for few. Examples of good policies include backup policy, right? Fast recovery process, network access and user policies, network segmentation practices. I am sure how many of the participants are having the routine habit of keeping backup of your activities. I am sure probably 1% or less than that. In addition, employees should know exactly how to act in response to a breach, and procedures should be practiced and rehearsed before they are needing to limit damage and or protect against data loss, right? And the third stage, fourth stage, it will be recovery, or as per slide, step D. Sometimes, even with the best technology, people and processes, an organization may still suffer a breach. It often happening in everywhere. Consider a physical breach. We all put locks on the door, but sometimes criminals still manage to break in, right? How a business recovers can be the difference in staying in business or closing the doors for good. Some factors to help aid in recovery, including backup files, again, investing in better network segmentation to limit damage and protect against data loss. In addition, cyber insurance, please note this task, cyber insurance and breach readiness as a services, we used to say BROS, are also important tools to help aid in recovery from a potential breach. If you are saying the holistic approach to the cyber security, these are the four fundas, and we have to analyze, we have to introspect what are the areas as of now we are weak, and we have to go for making changes in these aspects. How it is related with the human values? Have you ever heard about the word cyber ethics? So cyber ethics is a branch of applied ethics that examines moral, legal, and social issues at the intersection of computer or information and communication technologies. This field is sometimes also referred to be phrases such as internet ethics or computer ethics and or information ethics, right? You may hear these terms cyber ethics or internet ethics or computer ethics or information ethics in many places in many ways. The expression of internet ethics is somewhat narrow in scope and thus unable to capture the range of cyber related ethical issues that arise independently of the internet and networked computers. Because computer ethics connotes ethical issues affecting either computer professionals or computing machines, it also can easily fail to include a cluster of relevant issues that fall under the heading cyber ethics. The expression information ethics, on the contrary, is too broad because it can refer to information related ethical issues, or we can say beyond the scope of cyber technology. We cannot hold a limit. Actually, cyber ethics is the study of ethics pertaining to computers, covering user behavior and what computers are programmed to do, and how this affects individuals and society. For years, various governments have enacted regulations while organizations have explained policies about cyber ethics. With the increase of young children using the internet, even 2-year-old children, if it cries, the mother will immediately give a mobile phone to the kid to do a game. Often we are saying in many places, almost all places. I hope everyone will accept that. It is now very essential than ever to tell children about how to properly operate the internet and its dangers. It is especially hard to talk to teens, right? Because we are dealing with several thousands of deans in our academic area, because they do not want to be lectured about what is right and wrong. They seem to think they have it all sorts out. That is why is it important to still appropriate cyber etiquette at an early age, but if you have not, there is still time to tell to your child. You think of it, right? You please think of it. See, when we talk about responsible behaviors on the internet, right? I'm saying responsible behaviors on the internet. And I told about cyber ethics. See, when you say responsible behaviors on the internet, cyber ethics concerns to the code of responsible behavior on the internet. Just as we are taught to act responsibly in everyday life, right? The responsible behavior on the internet in many ways aligns with all the right behavior in everyday life, but the results can be significantly different. That is not the same, right? Some people try to hide behind a false sense of obscurity on the internet, believing that it does not matter if they behave badly online, because no one knows who they are or how to search them, right? I don't want to answer from any of the participants for this statement. Some of the people are trying to hide behind a false sense of obscurity on the internet, believing that it does not matter if they behave badly online because no one knows who they are. That is not all the time true. Browsers, computers, internet service providers may keep logs of their activities, which can be used to spot illegal or inappropriate behavior. The government has taken positive role in making resources for parents and children to learn about cyber ethics. This is a growing problem, and without parents and the academicians using the resources available, nothing can be done to prepare future generations of internet users from being safe online. I hope you had a session with Professor Dr. Ravi on the previous days. He might explain several things related with this, right? So when we say such kind of behaviors, what are the ethical challenges involved in it? Probably copyright and downloading. Copyright or downloading is a major issue because children don't know copyright policies. Not only children, most of the adults also. They only try to search what they need from the web and download it for their purpose, for the instant purpose. Their thinking is like, if everybody is doing it, therefore it is okay. I am not the only person to do. Many persons are doing. So what is wrong of me to download and use it? But an understandable and an age-appropriate lesson on cyber ethics could help children to learn the risks involved in internet downloading. Right? Right? And the next one, crime and punishment. Right? The word itself, a hot word. Children do not believe that they will get into any legal real problem from neglecting the use of cyber ethics. Often the cyber ethics word itself a new one, right? It has become easy to track the origin of wrong activity over the internet to an individual user. I hope everyone will accept. There is not much anonymity as a child may trust. If you are talking about US state, right? The United States Department of Justice has a recent list of federal computer crime cases of teens, right? Which shows a bigger shocking revealings. And the third one, internet hacking. Hacking done by stealing classified information, stealing passwords to get into a site, and also recasting a website without permission, right? Since the world is run on computers, yes, the world is run on computers, it is important that hackers are stopped. They could create viruses that could shut down the important websites or computer systems at any moment. So we have to make our children aware by telling its importance, right? Then the fourth ethical challenge, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is increasing and people are becoming aware of its effects on children. Cyberbullying is the bullying that takes place carrying electronic technology. Electronic technology carried by devices and equipment such as cell phone, computer, tablet, as well as communication tools including social media sites, text messages, website, and chat. When a child encounters cyberbullying, that they should tell a trusted adult, preferably parents, and keep telling them until they take action. Avoid to open, read, or respond to messages from cyberbullies. Always keep messages from bullies. They may need to take corrective action. Use software to block bullies if they encounter them through chat or messages. So use of technology by students is globally accepted as it facilitates the searching and retrieval of information needed for their academics and consequently the successful completion of their education programs. They need to be aware and knowledgeable about the ethics surrounding the use of ICT is therefore important. Student must be aware and possesses the knowledge about cyber ethics. Therefore, cyber ethics education must be provided to students by the schools and colleges. That's what I want to stress all the participants gathered here, around 49 people, right? Okay. The next one, few examples I want to post here. Say, the examples of cybercrime may be, you know well, ransom attacks or malware attacks or crypto mining or cryptojacking or identity theft or violating privacy, stealing, leaking data, human and sex trafficking, selling weapons online, selling drugs online, manipulating IPR, stealing information, digital currency scams, impersonality of some other persons, right? And what not. If you are looking last year, the incidents of cybercrime in 2019, these are the recordical value. In trade, it is 25, in administration 27, management 28, agriculture 31, mining 46, transportation 112, construction, real estate 37 each, accommodation area 125, utilities 148, entertainment 194, retail 287, healthcare 798, right? The coordinator is having a separate session for this healthcare. Education is 819, manufacturing is 922, and finance 1509. Information, the highest number is coming 5471, public 6843, and in professional 7463, and unknown is also playing a major role as together 32,002. The topmost incidents, finance, information, public, right? Manufacturing, healthcare are all you are having a separate session in this FDP. So the need for putting these two slides, the participants, those who are interested to do research, you may choose a suitable area for carrying out your research towards cyber security. Okay, I told about human value and I connected with cyber ethics. Sir, whether this cyber security or data security, right, or cyber attacks is related with environmental issues. If you are talking about environmental issues, the general thing, the climate change, everyone knows, energy, pollution, toxins and waste, intensive farming, right? The second one and first one, climate change and energy. You just look those two items alone. This energy is directly involved with data. How? Last financial year, the power production in the world is 1,40,000 terawatt hour. Among this 1,40,000 terawatt hour, 7% of power production is used for running computers and computer related equipments. And it is emitting very bigger amount of CO2. How? If you are talking about a desktop, right? If you are using a desktop, average of 200 watt hour when it being used, right? If you are using 8 hours per day, you are using around 600 kilowatt hour and emits 175 kilogram of CO2 per year. Whereas the laptop is little better. Whether you claim yourself as cyber security expert or software expert, and if you are using computer or computer related equipments, for the purpose of developing or saving something, that activity is emitting CO2 to the environment, and it is consuming a certain reasonably high percentage of power production in this world, say 7 to 10% of the production, right? Suppose if you are talking about a search of email, you talk about several types of viruses or cyber attacks, right? Mostly it will come through a mail, right? Assume if you are looking at 1 megabyte email during its total life cycle emitting 20 gram of CO2. It is equivalent to one old 60-watt lamp for 25 minutes, right? If you are assuming 20 mails per day, right, then you are emitting CO2 which is equivalent to traveling by a car for a kilometer 1,000. Or if you are talking about a router where there is also possibility of cyber attack, which is consuming 10,000 watts, 10,000 watts, or we can say 10 kilowatt, right? So these are all some striking data related with our day-to-day activity. We are talking about the data center also in our topic. If you are talking about data center, it comes around 100 million watts, right? Or we can say it is one tenth of the output of thermal power station. Definitely, you may have seen thermal power plant, or you can imagine the thermal power plant size, right? And the output of the thermal power plant 1/10 is going to be used by a data center. You think of it, right? And the next one. Sorry, the screen is skipping something. Okay. Suppose, right, if you are searching a web address, right? I told already it is emitting 8 gram of CO2, right? But it will get quickly 10 gram, right? Suppose if it searches at least 4 or 5 places, or if a web user makes an average of 2.6 web searches per day, right? Then the user is emitting around 10 kg of CO2. These are all very simple data. Okay, we may think that, sir, how it will affect me as a common human, right? But it is having a huge issue, huge impact to the environment also. So when browsing the web, an average internet user yearly needs 365 kilowatt hour electricity, and I mentioned a amount of liter of water, 2,900 liter of water, which corresponds to the CO2 that is emitted when you travel 1,400 kilometers by a car, right? The next one. This already I told. Do I emit CO2 when I surf the internet? When we say, do I emit CO2 when I surf the internet, it is related to the cyber security, because for keeping the cyber as a secured one, we are doing several activities. The several activities of us are making impact to the environment in a huge way. The largest survey done by Information and Communication Technologies in 2018 is saying that 6 to 10% of global electricity consumption, or 4% of our greenhouse gas emissions, and this figure increases by 5 to 7% each year. So our power production should go high. At the same time, the CO2 emission to the environment is also getting increased day by day, only because of the data. Only because of the data. It may be creation, or it may be saving, or it may be search, or it may be the issue of security. Right. So I took around more than 35 minutes. There is a questionnaire for you, right? Please click the link which is posted on your chat box, or please go to the menti.com website by using the code, right? By using the code is 8979266. Give your polling. You may ask, what is the need of knowing my branch of graduation? Here 48 participants including me are here, and we are talking about data security. The data security related with several areas. It is not pure computer, right? Right. In the survey the polling is showing the exact thing. So for 7 people polled, 8 people, among the 8 people, 1/4 of the people are not related with the computer area. They are from other area, and they are interested in cyber security or data security, right? Come on, guys, make it fast. You may understand the need for this polling at the end of the session. Yeah, Vishwabhaskar completed, Anita Mohatre completed, Amy also completed, I think so. So 9 people only completed among 47. Most of us are using, what is that, mobile phones for attending this faculty development program of AICTE Atal. Since we are in mobile phone, it is difficult for us to shift immediately to the polling screen, right? Oh my God, other people are the equivalent to the computer experts. So it is not a specific branch of subject. Okay, I will keep this polling till end of this day. Those who are interested can continue later also till the day end. We can continue our topic or discussion, right? So I told the need for cyber ethics, how to approach holistically to the cyber security, and I told 4 various aspects, right? Right. And I suggested, or I informed, the kids are not interested to listen to advices also. Whether it is only applicable to the kids or it is applicable to other people also. So here I want to say one principle which is called the Kubler-Ross change curve, right? Always, for an example, I can take a case study. Suppose if you are receiving a SMS which is mentioning that you are getting some 10 lakh rupee as cash prize for the encouraging you to continue your research, then most of the occasions, most of us may not even read that SMS. Assume that you applied or we applied for a funding. Being an academician, colleges will force us to apply for getting fund for doing the project. Assume we applied for a fund in a DST funding. We received a mail similar to the DST mail and stating that your project proposal got approved and you are awarded funding of 20 lakhs. What will happen? Immediately we will look at it, and if there is any link, definitely we will click. I hope everyone will agree, because it is directly related to our day-to-day activity, which will go for giving hike in our profile. So in that sense, we won't think ourselves whether it is true mail or fake mail or phishing mail, right? After clicking only we can understand that it is not working, but something is happening in the background. But what happened? The data is gone. Right? In that situation, what is our mindset? We will get shock, right? Immediate shock. Oh my God, unknowingly I got tracked or trapped by someone. Then immediately after a few seconds, we will say nothing will happen because they may hack only my mail ID. That is a college mail ID. There is no secrets. All my personal contacts as well as my bank account are kept in my personal mail ID. We will start denying. After a few minutes, we will think of yesterday I didn't log out my personal login. Sometime this particular hacker will able to reach my personal mail ID. We will start frustrated. We may not know what to do, right? We will go for depression stage. Then immediately we will get some idea. Okay, I will go and log out and I will change my password. We will do some experiments, right? This is the mindset of each and every human. We won't go for doing experiment and taking decisions on the spot. We have to overcome this situation, shocking situation, denial situation, frustrated, depression, experiment, decision, right? So suppose if you are talking about shock, denial, anger, these are all information and communication. Again, it is related with the data only, right? When you say bargaining, depression, it is required some emotional support. If you are having acceptance and problem solving, then it is required some proper guidance and direction. So similarly, are we having such situations in the cyber security, in the day-to-day activity, right? So that's what the Kubler-Ross made it several years back, even decades back, which is suitable for today's topic. Okay, let us come to the current topic. Since I came from the background of mechanical engineering and interested in energy, I took a topic for a case study purpose, artificial intelligence in the energy industry, which involves n number of data, right? Suppose if you are talking about this particular sector, right? When you talk about artificial intelligence sector, this artificial intelligence becomes more and more important in the energy industry and is having great potential for the future design of the energy system also. It's not needed for the cyber security experts. Is it so? Definitely no. It is most important to the cyber security experts. Typical areas of application are electricity trading, smart grids, or the sector coupling of electricity, heat, and transport. I am saying some areas. One is electricity trading, smart grid, sector coupling of electricity, heat, and transport. In each and every sector which I specified are having requirement of cyber experts. Prerequisites for an increased use of AI in the energy system are the digitalization of the energy sector and a correspondingly large set of data that is available. When you say electricity trading, it is also having lot of data. So this artificial intelligence helps make the energy industry more efficient and secure by analyzing and evaluating the data volumes, right? Okay. So if you are talking about AI in the energy sector, I told the power grid, it may be power consumption, or it may be trading, or it may be virtual plant. We can segregate in several ways, right? I'm not going to into the deep way. of this particular area. Only one thing I want to stress you, that this particular AI in the energy industry also required cyber security experts in large level, right? So there are some more slides which is related with the power grid, right? There is a graphical representation for easy understanding I put. In the future, the smart grids will be the biggest scope. Smart grids are another area of application. These networks transport not only electricity but also data, especially with an increasing number of volatile power generation plants such as solar and wind. It is becoming more and more important for power generation to react intelligently to consumption, and as well as vice versa. AI can help. When I say AI, it plays with the data in an intelligent way. AI can help evaluate, analyze, and control the data of the various participants like consumers, producers, storage facilities, etc., connected to each other via the grid. A particular focus of AI in the energy is on the integration of electromobility. An increase in e-cars, you might hear, India also take a decision of coming with e-cars. An increase in e-cars offer opportunities and challenges. The charging of electric cars must be coordinated, but at the same time, they offer the possibility of storing electricity and stabilizing the grid, for example, by adjusting the charging demand to price signals and availability. These are all some technical terms related with e-vehicle. But you have to understand that there are huge scope for cybersecurity experts in each and every point of our world, right? In addition to that, there are several maintenance and networks also there. The power consumption also the same way. Every home is going to use, every home is having to measure through the smart meters. And the third one, trading. I already told it might be related with the consumer or producers or transducers from one point to another point, where the power going as well as the data also transmitting. And the fourth one, virtual power plant, right? This is what I showed a diagram. So a sample diagram for the virtual power plants with the intelligent grid by using data specialized way. So this is a big area which is coming up. The people, those who are gathered here, also take an advantage of doing some more research for making safe of this particular energy sector in a possible way. So in that case, this particular artificial intelligence in the energy industry is facing some obstacles as well as criticism also. Any artificial intelligence is only as smart as its data. I hope we can agree. This is one of the biggest sticking of points, right? The topics of data protection and data security are some of the greatest weak points for the use of artificial intelligence. We are talking in several years this AI, right? But in real way, it is the data protection and data security. It's the biggest weakness in this AI. Those who are connected digitally and intelligently reveal a lot about themselves, and the system becomes vulnerable to cyber attacks, right? In 2018, the German Federal Office for Security, we used to call as BSI, observed that the number of cyber attacks on critical infrastructure tripled in comparison to 2017. It happened in Germany. It might happen in India also, right? So energy supply and the entire energy system are part of this critical infrastructure. This is why cybersecurity is becoming more and more important today and in the future, in order to protect the highly networked power grid from attacks and data theft from the outside. There are already strict security requirements for participants in the electricity market in the area of data protection and data security, though it is not 100% made it as a safe one, right? Contrary to the widespread opinion that all AI makes the power grid less secure, AI can make an important contribution to the fight against cyber attacks, no doubt in it. It can quickly check large amounts of data and thus detect deviations. AI can also draw conclusions from past cyber attacks. Machine learning has already achieved, I think you had one session regarding the machine learning earlier days. Machine learning has already achieved great success in this area. For example, in the detection and defense of Trojan. I'm not going to list the various terms. Many end users are critical of AI, especially in relation to smart home technologies. This is understandable because the data of the most private space that reveals a lot about its users is collected. Studies have shown that the biggest obstacle to the acceptance of smart meters is fear of revealing private information without knowing exactly how it is used. These fears are justified as there is still no regulation on how to handle this sensitive data, which is important for the electric system of the future, right? See, in India, if you are asking the date of birth of a person is not a issue. But if you are asking the same thing in US, it is ethically wrong. The data is a private data, right? We have to segregate which is private, which is public, and which has to be kept very confidential also, right? So in that sense, this particular AI is also going to play a major role in the coming days in the data sector, or we can say cyber security sector. And the blockchain also, you are having a separate session in the coming days, but for a holistic approach purpose, I am sharing this. So if you are saying blockchain, we used to say world-changing technology, which is also having some challenges. In these challenges, I want to stress only 2 points. One is environmental cost, the second one is establishment, which is related to my talk at the beginning. I told about environmental issues, I told about cyber ethics issues, right? And I told about the emission of CO2 to the environment. Similarly, the blockchain also having the same issues. You can have a separate session in this in the coming days. So the blockchain, again, I picked that energy area itself. It is also coming up in a huge way. Why I am saying is, in India, Uttar Pradesh government already started. During 2008, they conducted a huge conference. Very recently, Tamil Nadu government published their policy on blockchain, specifically for this energy area. Kerala government initiated a pilot plan for one specific panchayat area, right? So again, the data security is a big question. So the participants can look in this particular possible scope area. So if you are talking about this blockchain, specifically energy area, we are having this type of data, and we have to look the day-to-day operation of these areas. We have to study well for the purpose of making the data as a secured one by implementing our expertise, right? So everything is in the web of energy, internet, or we can say IoT, right? So you think of it and you work accordingly and according to your interest. Then application and all, it is having n number. Again, here also the healthcare, real estate, transport, education, which I told in connection with cyber security. right? Those two are interrelated. So both areas we have to make concentration for making the data in a best possible safe way. And for your knowledge, I added this slide. So energy sector, these are the 4 people are in lead. Of course, one of our Indian person, Infosys, also involved in energy sector, that too with blockchain technology, right? And a few more people are interested to make more money. We may hear about stocks. In blockchain also we are having a stock. In the world, there are some blockchain stocks in the top position. One is Intercontinental Exchange, Square, SQ, Galaxy Digital. These 4 names may be new to you, but the 5th name, Intel Corporation, as well as Canon, most of us knows well, right? This is not directly related with the topic, but again, the stocks also deal with a lot of data and how they are keeping their data in a safe way, that too in blockchain stocks, right? In that sense, what is our scope for doing research in these blockchain stocks, right? Okay, the second polling I will share just for checking that what is the first computer virus. The first computer virus is what? So I given choices as the first computer virus, maybe I love you, Blaster, Saucer, Creeper. You click the link which I shared in your chat box and give your polling. The first person polled as Creeper. Vishwabhaskar, please go to the Mendy.com, then give your answer. This may help you and me later for doing something in this specific cybersecurity area, provided if you are interested. Anita Mahde, Amit Patel. One my request, please don't go for Google. You can give your answer. Even if it goes wrong, nothing wrong. It is not a university exam or it is not your career examination. From this, the ethics is starting role in our life. This is what the mindset of human, right? Among 8 people, 4 given answer to Creeper, 1 Saucer, 1 Blaster to ILY. I will give another 20 seconds so that the remaining participants can also poll. Then we can go for discussing the remaining things. Guys, come up. We are having only 30 minutes back. Okay, I will do one thing. I will keep this poll also open till the end of day. Remaining participants can poll according to your convenience, right? So why I am saying is, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail, right? If you don't attack the risks, the risk will attack you. Nothing gets done till nothing gets done, right? Friends, can you specify a product which is having higher quality, lower cost, and long-term life? Any one product. I am miserably failed to identify one product in the universe which is having higher quality and low cost and coming for a long-term life. For example, this Apple iPhone is a higher cost. So one of the quality is not compromised in this statement. So similarly, we are having a variety of area to do, variety of platforms to execute our activities. Are we doing? So you please think of yourself about your position about your situation and act it. And if you are able to find at least one product in the world which is giving higher quality and low cost and long-term life, please post it in the chat box. Okay. Again, data, the scale of the cyber threat. Right. See, sir, what is the need of this particular thing? The global cyber threat continues to evolve at a rapid pace, with a rising number of data breaches every year. You might hear risk-based security report, right? I can share with your coordinator. He might share with you later. So the risk-based security revealed that shocking 7.9 billion records have been exposed by data breaches in the first 9 months of 2019 alone. Right? Actually, it is almost double than the year 2018. So that's what I am saying. In 2018 itself, 80,000 attacks per day, or over 30 million per year. Right? 21% of files are not protected in any way. 41% of companies have over 1,000 sensitive files left unprotected. Please note, 41% of companies in this world, which means the cybersecurity area is having a huge scope in the coming days. 62% of business experienced phishing and social engineering attacks in 2018 itself. It is not going to reduce. Worldwide spending on information security products and services exceeded 114 billion US dollar in 2018. It's not million, it's billion. Right? This is for making you to aware, making you to concentrate more in this particular research area. Suppose if you are talking about 2019, right? I told already 7.9 billion records have been exposed. Medical services, retailers, and public entities experience the most breaches, with malicious criminals responsible for most incidents. Some of these sectors are more appealing to cyber criminals because they collect financial and medical data. So healthcare is going to play in a major role. But all businesses that use networks can be targeted for customer data, corporate espionage, or we can say customer attack. Simply customer data and customer attack, right? The average cost of a data breach, okay, not only for saving the data, average cost of a data breach is $3.92 US dollar, that is million US dollar during 2019. And this year, by 2020, the estimated number of passwords used by humans and machines worldwide will grow 300 billion. This may make you to emerge as a data security or cyber security expert in the coming days, right? Okay, you might hear about the 5-year plan, 2017-21 plan. According to the plan, okay, the cyber security plan is estimated as 170 billion US dollar, but it is already reached 190 last year itself. Right? Cumulatively, it is going to exceed 1 trillion US dollar. We are not talking about in INR, right? It is not in crore also, right? Actually, the estimation is 133.7 billion US dollar by 2022 estimation. The International Data Corporation's prediction, right? Cyber security solutions will reach 133.7 billion US dollar by 2022, but it is already reached 170 plus in the last year itself. So the predictions are very less comparing with the current activities in this particular field, right? So what I am saying is we can have bigger dreams, right? For example, I used to say, being an academician, most of my colleagues are having a wish to create a sophisticated, luxurious house for their day-to-day life. They may find money in some way. They may sit together with the family members and hand-drawn papers of designs, right? And they have found a suitable place also. Being a Kerala comes from God's own country, people are having a lot of expectations. But after constructing the home, 99.9% of the people are not feeling comfort of 100% about their newly constructed house. You know why? It is in the hand of the constructed engineer or constructed mason or the persons or the team. They may not able to fulfill the expectation of individuals, those who given the work. Similarly, in the cyber security also, if you are not able to read, analyze, catch the day-to-day activity, not only the day-to-day activity, the future activity also, we may not be able to make the particular company or individual data as a secured one. We should have a wisdom to think beyond the limit, and based on the imagination, expectations, predictions, we have to design the cyber secure. Are we able to make such kind of algorithm? Right? Again, it's for you only. Why I said this? We all used to visit at least once in our lifetime to Walt Disney Park, right? But he made the statement after construction of Walt Disney. He is not convinced with the current design. He expected little more beyond that, the construction. Right? Okay. Again, one more statement for refreshing you, not required. Okay, and the last polling of today, I have only 20 minutes more. By that time, I have to complete. Let me try to complete. One moment, I will post it. According to your view, which area to be given top priority in cyber security? Kindly rank the below. Please go to the menti.com. So I given some 6 items. According to your view, which area to be given top priority? First one, endpoint security, content security, data center security, cloud-based services, identify and access management, mobile enterprise management. I am not listed, I didn't list all the areas. I took only 6 according to my ranking. And I am requesting the participants to poll it. It will take a little time so that I can able to understand what type of researchers are participated in this program. Initially, I started with a question that which branch of graduation you are. Then I put a general question about the first virus. Now I am asking you to rank it according to your interest and according to your area of research working. So far, only one person polled. According to you, which will give more priority in the coming days. I will take another 10 minutes to complete. Okay, I will do one thing. I will keep this also open till end of this day, right? Since there is no time, I am not going to talk about this change management model systems, right? I can skip these areas. Maybe I can share the PPT with your coordinator. You can go through later. Okay. So the cyber threats, it might be cyber crime, or it might be cyber attack, or it might be cyber terrorism, right? It can be types. We can say cybercrime includes single actors or groups targeting systems for most of the occasions financial gain or to cause disruption. The cyber attack often involves politically motivated information gathering. Cyber terrorism is intended to undermine electronic systems to cause panic or fear. So how do malicious actors gain control of computer systems? Can you think of it? So we can say malware, right? Different type of malwares you might know well. It might be virus or trojans or cyber or the latest ransomware or adware, botnets, right? Second area, SQL injection. Have you heard about SQL injection? SQL injection is a type of cyber attack used to take control of and steal data from a database, right? Hope you might know something. Then regarding the phishing, most of the cyber criminals target victims with emails that appear to be from a legitimate company asking for sensitive information, which I told about the DST funding of you. Or man in the middle attack, or denial of service attack, or latest cyber threat, or we can say this what is that Dreadx malware, which happened in December 2019, right? So there are several scams, several ways the cyber security is becoming a big question mark. So all the way we have to safeguard the end user. If you are doing that, then it will be well and good, right? So if you are talking about evaluation, it is like this, right? For a reference purpose, I am showing this, right? It is taken from the reference of Siemens ISA seminar. So right from the 1980s, right? The password guessing or password cracking or the backdoors or hijacking or bulgares, right? Or sneakers. These are all very old, right? And over the years, it is developing, right? And the latest, everyone knows the ransomware, right? So if there is any possibility in the coming days, we will meet again on how to secure each and every problem of this threat, right? Or we can say this way also, we can say how it is evaluated, started from individual to now whatever the connection. There is no question whether it is a good data or required data or important data, nothing. If it is collected, it will go, right? Or if you are talking acts, I think you had a separate session, the IT Act 2000, or we can say the Cybercrime Prevention Act 2012, right? The interesting factor is if you are looking the section 43 of IT Act 2000, right? If there is any illegal access to computer systems, downloading or copying data, inducting virus attack on it, damaging the computer, its stored data or network, etc., shall be liable to pay by way of compensation up to rupees 1 crore. This act made it in the year of 2000. That section 43 is having a very good solution. But in my knowledge, there is not even a single case filed, which means we have to approach the cybersecurity in a holistic way, right? So what I am saying, I don't believe in taking right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right. So always believe in your ability and effort. So again, due to the time shortage, I am not going to talk about Kurt Levin's model of change. Only one thing I want to say, when you want to map any of our activity, including the cybersecurity with human values, people like India will ask about the total cost of ownership, whether it is doing any harm to the global, whether it is having any secondary environmental impact. While making program or solution to secure the data, I request the participants to consider these three factors so that the human values will get increased, or at least it won't go downwards. So the cost of ownership, the global warming potential, and the secondary environmental impacts are the most important factors to be considered while we go for designing a data security program or a solution. Right. Okay, I think Anita Mahendra is asking how to avoid DDoS or DOS attack. Right, we will have a separate session for those each and every type of activities in the coming days. So what I am saying is we should have such a new item which has to give a taste of both apple and orange, which as an academician we hear the term Bloom's taxonomy for several years, right? So all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them by Walt Disney. So I believe that our dreams of securing the data in a safe way, securing the data transfer also in a safe way in the coming days by implementing in a positive way of solution. So again, one more thing, you might not return the SWOT of individual. Here I am asking the researchers to write down in a piece of paper to know about the strength, weakness, opportunity, challenges of the cyber security research. Your own cyber security research, strength, weakness, opportunity, challenges, so that you may go for the next stage to make the things in a success way. Right. So for your purpose, I put this slide. My career philosophy is like this: transforming student engineers into practicing engineers. Family first, student always. Ethics and environment is my family. So like that, if you are having a career philosophy, you can also share with me as well as other participants, so that we can also stabilize our day-to-day life, right? Okay, why we are doing all these things? What is the purpose of doing all these things? Only thing, we want to be happy, right? If you want to be happy, right, we have to act accordingly. How to check my happiness index? Everyone is asking, right? So for that, I am giving this sample. I am not asking you to do here. You can do it later whenever you are free, right? I showed a table which is having open pan, blind pan, hidden pan, unknown pan, right? And I given some conditions: known to self, unknown to self, known to others, unknown to others, right? You can take any type of word, or you can ask your kid daily one word and ask them to fill, right? For example, after collecting some 50 or 100 words, you try to put it in any one of the box. The first word able can be put any one of the pan, not in multiple pans. Similarly, other remaining words. These are all example words. These are all not mandatory thing. For an example, I am showing here. After completing all the available words to drop in any one of the box, you just count the boxes, count the numbers in each box, right? Suppose if you are getting unknown pan as very less, hidden pan as little higher than that, open pan is the highest number, and blind pan is less than open pan. Then you can claim yourself as your happiness index is huge. If anything is not coming accordingly, then you have to change your activity, you have to change your attitude, you have to look forward for some more good things to increase your happiness index. So, for an example I given here, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, and the Indian author Who Will Cry When You Die by Robin Sharma, right? And last but slide. Here comes, some people asked how to stop my attack. Please give your feedback for doing collaborative research in the area of cyber security. The form is given in the chat box. You can click it and fill it. Later on, if you are having the same frequency, we can meet again and discuss further elaborately in the coming days. So the consolidation of my today's session, we have to approach the cybersecurity as a holistic way by educating, by importing technology, by making policy and procedures, and acting recovery. If you are doing in a sequence, in a series or parallel or together, then definitely we may able to stop the cyber attacks in any form. Hope we people can do it. We people can do some more researches. And for the today's session, I have these references. These are all available in the web, except few. Right? So thank you for your patience to listen the session for the past 1.5 hours. So to conclude, I started with cyber security, cyber ethics, and the possible holistic approach for different status or stages or ways. And I correlated with Kubler-Ross change model curve. Then some striking data I shared with you, which is affecting the environmental, even though we are not directly related to the particular actions. I didn't get chances to explain ADKR model as well as Kurt Lewin's model of change due to 1.5 hour time. Then the various 3 cyber problems. Then I asked you to poll 3 numbers started from your graduation and a small quiz, and ranking of different areas for doing the research in cybersecurity. And at last, I request everybody to test your happiness index by yourself, not no need of revealing to others, for a self introspection of happiness index of an individual. Hope you will do. Then I given a reference for getting tips for increasing the happiness index by Murphy as well as Robin, and ended with my references. And Simi is asking, sir, can you give your PPT? Definitely, I will share the PPT, not in the PPT format. I will share it into the PDF format to the coordinator, so he may circulate among to you all. Or you are having my contact details. You please contact me if it is not. I am sure the coordinator will do it, right? And the last Google Sheet form, I requested you to give your research interest in different fields. Hope some of your research interest fields will meet with my interest as well as my colleagues' interest. So we may do some collaborative activities in the coming days. So thanks for patient listening. Thank you all. Over to the coordinator.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very informative and useful session. And participants are enjoyed very well and learned a lots of things. Thank you, sir. And as you said, please share your lecture in PDF form, and I will share with the participants. Thank you, sir. Thank you again. And hope we will invite you in other lectures or FDPs. And it is very nice to having contact with such a resource person like you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All of you are invited to visit our campus also, God's own country, the Kerala. Whenever you come for official purpose or personal purpose, please visit us. We will engage you, we will entertain you. So whenever you require our service, we are ready to do it. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, dear participants, this is the end of first session. In next session, we have Dr. Venkateshan from Triple IT Allahabad. I think he joined earlier. Dr. Venkateshan, are you here? Dr. Venkateshan. So one more thing, I shared 2 times the attendance form. I request to all of you kindly fill the attendance form